Hey there, fellow adventurers, and welcome to your Inspiration Quick Travel Guide. I'm Kevin, your co-pilot for all things travel.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are pumped you're joining us for this deep dive into prepping for your first trip overseas.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that you are not just prepared,
Right.
but excited for the incredible experiences ahead.
You know, planning an international trip might seem like a mountain of tasks, but trust me,
Oh, yeah,
it's totally manageable even if you're a newbie globetrotter.
it is.
We'll break it down into easy steps, sprinkle in some funny stories and expert advice,
Of course.
and before you know it, you'll be sipping that tropical drink on a beach somewhere fabulous.
Exactly. And the best part is the reward, immersing yourself in different cultures, tasting incredible food, and seeing those bucket list destinations firsthand.
Yeah.
Those experiences stay with you long after the tan lines fade.
Okay, let's kick things off with the absolute must-haves, the VIPs of international travel.
All right.
Your documents.
Right.
First up, that little booklet that opens doors to the world.
Yeah.
A passport.
The passport. It's more than just a document. It's your ticket to adventure.
It is.
And you want to make sure it's ready to go on that adventure with you.
Right.
The golden rule here is to check the expiration date.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people get tripped up by this.
Oh, tell me about it.
Mhm.
Almost missed a flight once because my passport was about to expire.
Oh, no.
Picture this, me sprinting through the airport, sweating, panicking,
Oh, my God.
all because I didn't check the date.
Yeah.
Not a good start to a relaxing vacation.
Lesson learned, right?
Yes.
Now, here's a little insider tip. Some countries require your passport to be valid for at least 6 months beyond your trip.
What?
Seriously, they'll check. Airlines can deny boarding if you don't meet this requirement.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor.
Oh.
Check that expiration date and renew early if you need to.
Now, while we're on the topic of essential documents, let's talk about visas.
Okay.
These can be a bit of a puzzle, but don't worry, we'll help you navigate it.
Think of visas as special permission slips to enter a country.
Okay.
Some countries are cool with you just showing up with your passport,
Right.
but others require you to apply for a visa in advance.
Yeah. The U.S. State Department website has this super handy tool
Yes,
that lets you search visa requirements by country.
it does.
It's a lifesaver. Seriously, bookmark that page.
It's like having a travel agent in your pocket.
Yeah.
And while you're there, why not check out the health recommendations and required vaccinations for your destination?
Right.
Trust me, you don't want to spend your dream vacation battling a nasty bug you could have prevented.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. I learned that the hard way. Once got terribly sick while traveling, and let me tell you,
Oh, no.
it put a damper on the whole trip.
Yeah.
It was a stark reminder to always travel with insurance.
Yes. Travel insurance is like that trusty sidekick you hope you never need,
Right.
but are eternally grateful to have if things go wrong.
Yeah.
It can cover everything from unexpected medical expenses to lost luggage,
Oh,
flight cancellations, and even emergency evacuations.
it's peace of mind in a little package.
It is.
Plus, it's generally pretty affordable, especially when you consider the potential costs of dealing with a medical emergency in a foreign country.
Exactly. Now, speaking of things you don't want to deal with while traveling,
Right.
let's move on to money matters.
Okay.
This is where things can get a little confusing with different currencies and exchange rates.
Yeah.
But we'll make it simple for you.
All right. Let's talk money.
Okay.
It's the fuel for those souvenir sprees and delicious local meals, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing.
Oh.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket,
Right.
or in this case, all your funds on one card.
Okay.
Having multiple payment options is key.
Got it.
I always recommend a mix of cash and cards.
Okay.
You never know when a card might get flagged for suspicious activity,
Right.
or an ATM might be out of service.
I once had a card randomly declined while traveling. It was a total nightmare. Thankfully, I had some backup options. So trust me, having a mix of cash and cards can save you from a major travel meltdown.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of cards, let's talk about those sneaky foreign transaction fees.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe how quickly those little charges can add up.
Yeah.
It's like a little gremlin nibbling away at your travel budget.
Hate those.
But fear not, fellow travelers.
What?
There's a way to outsmart those gremlins.
Okay.
Many banks and credit card companies offer cards with no foreign transaction fees.
Real.
Do a little research, compare your options,
Okay.
and choose a card that's travel-friendly.
That's a great tip.
It's like getting a little bonus for your trip.
I like it.
And one last but super important money tip, call your bank and credit card companies before you leave
Okay.
and let them know about your travel plans.
This might seem like a small thing, but it can save you a huge headache.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine this. You're about to buy that perfect souvenir and your card gets declined.
Uh-oh.
Not because you're broke,
Right.
but because your bank flagged it as suspicious activity
Yes.
because you forgot to tell them you were traveling.
Exactly.
A quick call before you go can prevent your card from being frozen and ensure you can use it without any hiccups.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got our documents in order, our finances sorted.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the part that everyone loves to hate,
Oh, boy.
packing.
Yes,
It can be a bit of a puzzle trying to fit everything you need into a suitcase,
it can.
but with a few clever strategies, you can become a packing pro in no time.
Yes, packing is a bit of an art form.
It is.
But before you even start pulling out your suitcase,
Right.
let's talk about the MVP of your luggage,
What's that?
your carry-on bag.
This is your travel lifeline, folks. It's the bag that stays with you through thick and thin, through delayed flights, and even lost luggage.
Exactly. So what goes in this all-important bag?
Yeah.
The essentials, change of clothes, your toiletries, any medications you take, your electronics, phone charger, headphones, and my personal must-have,
The
snacks.
snacks are essential.
They are.
You never know when hunger might strike, especially during those long flights or layovers.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in being prepared for any snack emergency.
Always good to have some fuel for the adventure.
For sure.
Now let's move on to the main event, that trusty suitcase that holds all your vacation dreams.
All right, let's unpack those packing tips.
Okay.
First and foremost, embrace the magic of rolling your clothes.
Yes.
It's like origami for your wardrobe.
It is.
It saves space, prevents wrinkles.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just super satisfying.
It's a game changer.
It is. And if you have any bulky items like that comfy sweater, you can't live without try wearing it on the plane.
Right.
That frees up valuable suitcase real estate.
It does.
Oh, and here's another pro tip. Use packing cubes.
Packing cubes.
They're like little compartments for your clothes.
Yes.
It keeps everything organized, and you'd be surprised how much more you can fit in your suitcase when you use them.
Packing cubes are life-changing.
They are.
Mhm.
And speaking of fitting everything in, let's not forget about those pesky airline luggage weight limits.
Oh, yeah.
Those can be a real buzzkill.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to start their vacation by shelling out extra cash for overweight bags.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor
Yes.
and check those weight limits before you start packing.
And while you're checking the airline's website, take a peek at their list of restricted items.
Oh, yeah. This is important. You might be surprised by what you can't bring on a plane.
That's true.
I once accidentally packed a souvenir that turned out to be a prohibited item. Cue the awkward moment at airport security.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. Always double check those packing restrictions.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now I think we've tackled the packing challenge.
We did.
So let's move on to the next stage of the journey,
Okay.
navigating the airport. All right, let's get ready for takeoff. Buckle up. It's going to be a smooth ride.
Well, hopefully a smooth ride.
Yes.
But before we even step foot in that bustling terminal, let's talk about the golden rule of airport navigation.
What's that?
Arrive early.
This can't be stressed enough, especially for international flights.
It can't.
I always aim for at least 3 hours before departure.
Okay.
It might seem like a long time,
All right.
but trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Arriving early gives you a buffer zone for unexpected hiccups.
Right.
You know, things like long security lines, traffic jams on the way to the airport,
Yeah.
or even just getting a little lost trying to find your gate.
And speaking of checking in, did you know that many airlines allow you to check in online beforehand?
They do.
It's a great way to save time
Yeah.
and sometimes even snag a better seat.
It's like having a little head start on your journey.
I like it.
Now, once you've checked in and dropped off your luggage,
Right.
it's time for the main event,
What?
airport security.
Ugh. Airport security.
Hello.
The place where we all become temporary contortionists, trying to remove our shoes, belts, and jackets while juggling our carry-on bags and boarding passes.
It can be a bit of a dance,
It can't.
but with a little preparation, you can breeze through it like a pro.
Okay, good.
First things first, have your documents ready.
Okay.
Your boarding pass and passport are your golden tickets through security.
Keep them in an easily accessible place like your front pocket or a small pouch. You don't want to be that person holding up the line while digging through your bag for your passport.
And while you're waiting in line, start preparing for the screening process.
Okay.
You know, remove your belt, your watch, any jewelry that might set off the metal detector.
Right.
It's like a little pre-game ritual to get you in the security mindset.
I like it. It also helps to remove your laptop and any other electronics from your bag beforehand.
Yeah.
They usually need to be screened separately, and it just speeds up the whole process.
Speaking of things that need to be screened separately,
What?
liquids.
Ah, yes.
Remember the 3-1-1 rule? So that's 3.4 ounces or less per container. All your liquids in one quart-sized bag and one bag per passenger.
Right.
It's like a little rhyme to help you remember.
Yeah. The TSA, or Transportation Security Administration, can be a bit strict about this, so make sure you're following the rules.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about keeping everyone safe and ensuring a smooth security process.
Exactly. Now, once you're at the front of the line,
Okay.
be prepared to put your bags and belongings in the trays provided.
Duh.
Listen to the security officer's instructions.
Yes.
Move quickly through the screening process.
Right.
And then double check that you have all your belongings before moving on.
It's easy to get flustered and leave something behind,
It is.
especially if you're feeling a little stressed.
Yeah.
So take a moment to collect yourself.
Good idea.
Do a quick inventory,
Right.
and then pat yourself on the back for successfully navigating airport security.
You did it. Now it's time to relax, maybe grab a coffee or a snack, and enjoy the rest of your airport experience.
You deserve it. And hey, if you have time, why not check out the airport lounge?
Oh, yeah.
It could be a great way to escape the hustle and bustle of the terminal and enjoy some peace and quiet before your flight.
Many lounges offer complimentary food and drinks, Wi-Fi, comfortable seating,
Wow.
and even showers. It's like a little oasis of calm amidst the airport chaos.
All right, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, from essential documents to packing tips to navigating the airport.
We have.
But there's so much more to explore.
There is.
And I can't wait to share more tips and tricks with you.
We've tackled the pre-flight hurdles. Now it's time to enjoy the journey. And trust me, even if you're in economy class,
Okay.
there are ways to make that flight feel like a first-class experience.
Okay, spill the secret, Sarah. I'm all ears.
Well, first things first, let's talk about hydration.
Okay.
Airplane cabins are notoriously dry,
Yeah.
like the Sahara Desert at 30,000 feet.
Oh my gosh.
You'll want to combat that dryness by staying hydrated throughout your flight.
Yes. It's amazing how much better you feel when you drink enough water, especially during those long haul flights. My go-to move is to bring an empty water bottle and fill it up after security.
Smart move.
Yeah,
Those airport water bottles can be ridiculously expensive.
they are.
And while we're on the topic of bringing things on board, let's talk about entertainment.
Okay.
Long flights can feel like an eternity if you're not prepared.
It's like being stuck in a time warp.
But fear not, fellow travelers.
Yeah.
We've got the antidote to boredom. Load up your phone or tablet with movies, TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks,
Right.
whatever tickles your fancy.
It's like packing your own personal entertainment system.
And don't forget those trusty headphones.
Right.
Noise-canceling ones are a game changer, especially if you're trying to catch some shut-eye.
Oh, and speaking of shut-eye, let's talk about the dreaded jet lag.
Yeah.
It's the travel companion nobody wants.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it often comes along for the ride.
Jet lag can really throw a wrench in your plans, especially if you have limited time in your destination. But here's the good news.
Okay.
You can outsmart jet lag with a little pre-planning.
Okay. I'm all for outsmarting jet lag. Give me the tips.
Well, if possible, try adjusting your sleep schedule a few days before departure.
Okay.
Even shifting it by an hour or two can make a difference.
Got it.
And as soon as you board that plane, set your watch to the destination time zone. It's like mentally transporting yourself to your new time zone.
And my secret weapon for combating jet lag on those long flights, an eye mask and earplugs. They block out all the light and noise, creating a little cocoon of darkness and silence.
Right.
It's like a mini spa treatment for your eyes and ears.
I love that analogy. And while we're talking about in-flight comfort, let's not forget about those little things that can make a big difference.
Like what?
Things like packing a travel-sized moisturizer and lip balm to combat that dry cabin air.
Yes, airplane air can suck the moisture right out of you. I always pack a little travel-sized hand sanitizer too, just to keep those germs at bay.
Good idea. You're exposed to a lot of people and surfaces when you travel, so it's always good to be mindful of hygiene. I even pack a few disinfecting wipes to wipe down my seat tray table and armrests. It might seem a bit excessive, but hey, I like to be extra cautious.
No judgment here. I'm all about staying healthy while traveling. Now, we've talked a lot about in-flight comfort, but let's not forget that flying can be an amazing experience in itself.
It can be.
Sometimes I just like to look out the window and marvel at the world below.
There's something magical about seeing the world from above, especially during takeoff and landing. It's a reminder of how vast and diverse our planet is.
It's like a geography lesson come to life. And speaking of bringing things to life, let's talk about technology. Our phones have become indispensable travel companions.
They really have. And one app I can't live without when I travel is Google Translate.
Yeah.
It's a lifesaver for those times when you need to communicate but don't speak the local language.
I've used it to order food, ask for directions, even have simple conversations with locals.
Yeah.
It's amazing how technology can break down language barriers and connect people from different cultures.
It's like having a personal interpreter in your pocket.
It is.
And speaking of useful travel apps, let's not forget about offline maps.
Oh, yeah.
These can be a lifesaver, especially if you're in a new city and don't have reliable internet access.
Imagine this, your phone battery dies,
Yeah.
you can't find Wi-Fi, and suddenly you're lost in a maze of unfamiliar streets.
Yeah.
Having those offline maps downloaded beforehand can prevent a major travel meltdown.
They're like a digital compass guiding you through the urban jungle. You can download offline maps through apps like Google Maps and Maps.me. I highly recommend doing this before you even leave for your trip. It's one less thing to worry about when you're on the go.
All right, so we've covered hydration, entertainment, jet lag technology,
Yeah,
and even a little bit of in-flight hygiene.
we have.
I think we've pretty much mastered the art of flying.
I think so too. But before we move on to our final bonus tip, I want to emphasize one thing: embrace the unexpected.
Oh, I love that. Tell me more.
Well, things might not always go according to plan when you're traveling, especially in a new and unfamiliar place.
Right.
Flights might be delayed, bags might get lost,
Yeah.
you might encounter language barriers, or even a little bit of culture shock.
It's all part of the adventure.
Yeah.
Don't let those little hiccups ruin your trip. Just roll with it. Stay positive.
Yeah.
And remember that those unexpected moments often make the best stories.
Exactly. Sometimes the most memorable travel experiences are the ones that didn't go exactly as planned.
Okay. I'm ready for that bonus tip. What's the secret to a stress-free arrival?
This one's especially important if you have connecting flights.
Okay.
Be mindful of potential visa requirements, even for layovers.
Oh, this one almost got me once. I had a layover in a country that unexpectedly required a transit visa.
Wow.
Even though I wasn't leaving the airport, I almost got stuck there.
It's a tricky one, and it can catch even seasoned travelers off guard.
Yeah.
So always double check those visa requirements, especially if you're flying on separate tickets for connecting flights. I'm excited to unpack some more tips and tricks with you.
I'm ready for touchdown, Sarah. Let's wrap this up with some final nuggets of wisdom for our fellow adventurers.
Perfect. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but incredibly important:
Okay.
respecting the local culture and environment.
That's so true. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of travel and forget that we're guests in someone else's home.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
You wouldn't barge into someone's house, blast loud music, and disregard their house rules, right?
Definitely not. You'd be respectful of their space and their customs. It's the same principle when traveling.
Absolutely. So how can we be more mindful and responsible travelers?
Yeah.
It starts with simple things like being aware of our impact on the environment.
Reduce our waste, conserve water, and try to choose eco-friendly options whenever possible.
Right. Little actions can make a big difference. And don't forget about respecting local customs and traditions.
That means dressing appropriately, being mindful of noise levels, and avoiding any offensive language or gestures.
Exactly. It's all about being respectful and considerate of the people and places we visit.
And remember, travel's a two-way street. It's not just about what we can take from a destination, but also about what we can give back.
I love that. How can we give back while traveling?
Well, we can support local businesses. Maybe try that family-run restaurant instead of the big chain.
Yeah.
Or we can volunteer our time. Even a few hours can make a difference.
Right. And sometimes it's the small gestures that matter most, like learning a few basic phrases in the local language.
Right.
Hello, thank you, please. Those go a long way in showing respect and appreciation.
It's like a little gift you give to the people you meet. And who knows, you might even make some new friends along the way.
Speaking of new friends, let's talk about communication. It can be a challenge when you're in a country where you don't speak the language, but there are ways to bridge that gap.
My go-to travel companion is my phone, loaded with helpful apps like Google Translate. I've used it to decipher menus, ask for directions, and even have simple conversations with locals.
It's like having a pocket-sized interpreter. And don't forget about the power of nonverbal communication. A smile, a nod, a friendly gesture, those can speak volumes.
Sometimes the best connections are made without words. Okay, I think our listener is officially prepped and ready for takeoff. But before we send them off on their grand adventure, let's shift gears a bit and talk about some pre-trip prep that can make a huge difference in how smoothly their trip goes.
great idea. It's easy to get so caught up in the excitement of packing and planning your itinerary that you forget about some of the more practical aspects of pre-trip prep.
Exactly. And speaking of practical, 15 tips for traveling abroad for the first time. Important. Add a tip that I think a lot of people might not even consider. Don't blindly follow YouTubers' advice.
Wait, isn't that what we're doing right now?
Well, sort of. But their point is, what works for one traveler might not work for another. We all have different travel styles, budgets, and comfort levels. What might be a must-do for one person could be a total disaster for someone else.
That's so true. I've definitely fallen into the trap of watching those picture-perfect travel vlogs and thinking, oh, I have to do that too. But then I get there and it's not at all what I expected.
Right. It's important to remember that travel is a personal experience, and what makes it special is finding what resonates with you.
So basically, do your research, read reviews, and most importantly, trust your own intuition.
Absolutely.
Okay, Kevin, I think we've covered it all. From prepping your passport to respecting local customs, staying safe, and embracing the unexpected.
Yeah.
We've equipped our fellow adventurers with all the essentials for an amazing first international trip.
It's been an incredible journey, Sarah. I feel like we've packed a whole suitcase of valuable tips and tricks.
I agree. Now, before we sign off, let's remind our listeners to subscribe to your Inspiration Quick Travel Guide on YouTube and press that like button for more travel tips and inspiration.
Thanks for listening and happy traveling.